Did you know that your brain treats your voice like a VIP? Because your voice has the power to impress. Think about your own voice, not whether you like the sound of it, but just the sheer fact of it. You've heard your voice every day. Does hearing ourselves out loud actually shape who we become? They're talking about the outer voice. And that question was way more interesting than I expected. We've seen impressions, we've felt impressions from other people, but today we're really talking about heard impressions on our brain. And that impression is just evidence of what we experienced. The whole point of this podcast is for me to come on and share with you the things that are just lighting me up, that I'm getting really excited about, little moments of inspiration, all my favorite things. And that's precisely where I'm going next. Neville Goddard, he shares with us from his 1944 book, Feeling is the Secret. I've returned to this book over and over. I just love his writing so much. The conscious impresses the subconscious, while the subconscious expresses all that is impressed upon it. And I sat with that sentence for a while and read it over and over because I wanted to really understand, how does it connect with the voice and how does it connect with our brain? And it turns out that Neville Goddard, he wasn't alone. When I was looking at different authors, I came across a French author, Emile Coué, and in his 1922 book, Self Mastery Through Conscious Autosuggestion, he believed that an idea that was repeated with sufficient conviction gradually settles into our mind like a simple fact. And have you read that book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers? She wrote that subconscious takes its orders directly from the conscious mind without any argument or without any hesitation. And whether you agree with every conclusion that these authors reached, that's beside the point. Because in their own language and in their own time that they were writing, they were all circling around this very same question that I had. How do those repeated thoughts settle in to create lasting beliefs for us that then positively influence our lives? Then I was writing in my journal this week and I wrote the word impressed and put a little apostrophe, I apostrophe M test. And so kind of playing with words, that impress, the pressing down of your desire, that the conscious mind is pressing down into the subconscious mind to influence the life that we're living. Because remember, the subconscious just follows what is being impressed upon it. We claim without any hesitation what we want, what we're calling into our life. And I did a whole episode on that, claiming that you are victorious now, right in the moment that you decide. And then there's the I am that I am phrase. And I love this one. I love it so much that I created a journal and it's available in Amazon. It's called I Am That. I Am. And this is where you're just claiming it now for yourself because your subconscious follows that certainty, that quiet decision that you're already experiencing that success. That just feels so uplifting. And that's what I'm just getting so excited about lately. Is you're already expressing it in your mind, and then you start to utilize affirmations, and then you're expressing it outwardly in every word that you say. And every waking moment is that opportunity to be reborn into that impression, a small momentary birth. As I wrote about in my first book, Momentary Birth, that momentary birth is your opportunity to recommit yourself into the moment where you are, to feel better now. That small momentary birth where you recommit to the desire that you want with a lot of focus because that's when both your inner voice and your outer voice are coming together. And then you feel that joyful knowing. And then you're adding in your affirmations and you're establishing that frequency between your inner voice and your outer voice. There's that vibration that matches everything that you desire. Then, from what I have learned, your only obligation, mine and yours, is truly to love that feeling again and again, allowing your conscious mind to continually impress upon the subconscious mind so many times over and over that great feeling so that then the subconscious conceives it as real. Doesn't that sound beautiful? And then your subconscious is looking for every possible way to bring that to you. I think you only need to decide. You need to decide that everything that you want is already yours through harmony with yourself. Because it's okay to be impressed with yourself. I'm not talking about impressed with yourself as egoic. I'm thinking highly. I'm talking about it on the consciousness level, the level of the conscious mind impressing upon the subconscious. So, what do you think? Do you think your inner voice can cultivate a devotion to yourself? That beautiful continual praise that runs on your inner self talk? Self talk is the way that people talk to themselves, it's their inner voice. And a description of self talk would include anything that is self directed verbal expressions encompassing various dimensions: positive, negative, overt, covert, instructional, or motivational. And it includes elements of interpretation. And while inner speech is that unstructured, constant stream of mental activity, it can be both voluntary and involuntary. It can be thought or reflection. Self talk is often an attempt at self regulation, and it's usually in response to or when you're anticipating a specific event or a specific situation. Then you have positive self talk or self affirming that can really play a role in influencing your decision making. It helps you facilitate a lot of different activities, and we've seen it and heard about it oftentimes where it enhances performance in sports. It can boost academic achievement, and it can also help people manage their anxiety when they are speaking in public. It inevitably leads to you listening to your own voice. That's what self talk is. And the thing about self talk is that your brain actually perceives your own spoken voice as the most attractive. This attractiveness can be explained by vocal implicit egoism, which is a form of self enhancement that's driven by familiarity, of positivity towards yourself. And the brain really likes it. What I get really excited about is bringing you then the neuroscience that confirms the metaphysical world and spirituality and then connects it for so many people in a more concrete role. Because neuroscientists today, they don't reach for words like subconscious, like the authors did, but they're asking something very similar. They're asking, how does the brain come to recognize that a piece of information belongs to me, that it's relevant to me? And it just so happens that the brain pays extraordinary attention to anything tagged as yourself, your own name, your face, your memories. I was really thrilled to discover your brain loves your voice as well. There's actually a 2024 study that was published in the journal called Brain Sciences, in which there were adults that were placed in an fMRI scanner and they listened to affirmations and reframing exercises. And sometimes they recorded their own voice, and sometimes they listened to the voice of someone else. And the activity in their brains, it differed from when they were listening to their own voice and when they were listening to someone else's voice saying the same affirmations. There were parts of the brain that responded distinctly to the sound of each participant's voice while they were doing the affirmations and reframing exercises. And the researchers, they're really careful to say that it doesn't mean that one's identity is transformed overnight by listening to the sound of your voice, but it does confirm something that's quite lovely is that the brain regards your own voice as belonging to an entire different category, that it is highly important. And as I led in the beginning, the VIP matters so much to your brain. And so when you're considering that every time you speak, your brain is actually doing so much more than just producing words. It's coordinating the movement of so many muscles. It's monitoring the sensations, and it's predicting also at the same time, this, predicting what you are about to say before you even say it. And your brain is at the same time comparing your intention against what you actually are hearing. It receives the message not only through the bone and the muscles in your body, but it also receives the sound back into your ears. And it's truly like no other sound experience that the brain can have, because in the moment you are creating the sound, but you're also receiving it. And then the brain goes into perceiving, perception simultaneously every single time. And that's why then that inner critic will sometimes come in, because the brain is jumping to perception. What I learned was that's precisely why your voice isn't just conveying words. It conveys your identity. It conveys your memories, your agency. It's your brain predicting. It conveys emotion all at the same time. Then I had the question, why do certain moments stick with us for our whole life? And then others just vanish entirely. I found in my research, there's a wonderful book by James McGaugh called Memory and Emotion, The Making of Lasting Memories. And his research suggests that emotion is what binds our memory in place. The more something means to us, the more firmly it is put into place as a memory. Then I found something else that delighted me even more as a musician. There's a study published in the Journal of Neurophysiology. It was conducted by a researcher named Alvaro Pascual Leon. A number of the participants practiced a simple 5-finger piano exercise every day for 5 days. And then a second group merely imagined playing it, their hands remaining perfectly still. And when the brains were scanned afterwards between the two groups, there was a region of the motor cortex that governs finger movements that expanded by comparable amounts in both groups, just because they imagined it. The imagination was done with such focus and intention rather than just daydreaming. It was a hyper-focused activity. And we've heard this before from athletes, right? That learning something doesn't necessarily mean that we have to do it, but how vividly and deliberately something is felt. The power of our brain to expand and to receive these, which then brings us right back to the voice. That's what we're doing constantly with our voice. Our voice sharing confidence, sharing uncertainty, sharing our sense of safety when we feel afraid, when we feel angry. Whatever belief we hold about what we deserve is the thing that we end up asking for with the tone of our voice. Speech scientists, they measure this, the pitch, the pace, the length of our pauses, and what that means in relationship to our self-concept. For me, I am excited about the ability to utilize my voice to share kind of identity that I've stepped into now. And I love the work that I'm doing now because I'm helping others do the same. So I'm going to return to Neville Goddard because you know how much I love him, that the conscious mind impresses the subconscious mind, and then the subconscious mind expresses everything that's impressed upon it. Both Neville Goddard and neuroscience have the same truth that what we repeat, we become. Nothing in life is repeated more faithfully, more constantly than us hearing our own voice inside our head, both our inner voice and our outer voice, day after day. We're hearing it. And this is what I can't stop asking myself, and what I now would love to ask you. What impression are you leaving upon yourself today? I'm not talking about that story that you tell everybody else or your tone of voice. I'm talking about the certainty or the hesitation you hear in your own voice when nobody else is listening. What kind of impression do you want your voice to leave on you? I want to invite you to an upcoming event of mine where we're going to be exploring this topic more deeply. And it's called Influence, the Ripple Effect of Your Voice. And I would love for you to join me. The link is in my bio. I hope to see you there. If you have any questions for me, suggestions for future episodes of topics you would love to hear about the voice or manifestation or connection, I would love to hear from you. Drop me a comment below. Until then, I'll see you next time on In the Back of My Mind.